Hi everybody, I'm going to be talking about past lives today. Pretty much just that as a general topic, and it is so ungodly hot in here that this video is probably going to be pretty short because it's just so hot that I can't even concentrate. So yeah, anyhow, I'm definitely going to be talking about past lives from my sort of eclectic spiritual view and numerology perspective here. So, as usual, as I said in my last video, this is simply just my perspective. If you don't agree with it, it's a back button. So, I mean, don't know what else to say other than that. Decided to stop being so timid in my videos and just fully, unapologetically be myself. And yeah, that's how it's going to be from now on. So yeah, anyways. So with that being said, hello everybody. I'm excited to make this video for you guys. Also, if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen like tons of pictures of this crystal, but I just can't help but like show you guys anyhow. Look at this awesome smoky quartz cluster that I got for myself as like a little present. Ooh. Oh yeah. I can't like put it down. It has to go everywhere with me, which is not a good idea. So yeah, usually when I have crystals that I have a deep connection with and want to take everywhere with me, I fucking drop them. So I really don't want to keep doing that. So I need to just go ahead and just give it up already and just pick a nice little place for this guy and sit him somewhere and just tell myself no. So that being said, let's go ahead and talk about past lives, guys. So I'm just going to go ahead and start talking about this on the presumption that, like, perhaps that you guys really just don't know anything about past lives, other than the fact that it's the idea that you lived in a life before this one, that your soul exists as a separate entity outside of this body, basically, and that it can transcend this present life, basically. Now, that pretty much the idea behind past lives is reincarnation. Okay, so when you think about reincarnation, you just understand the idea of it. You're like, okay, reincarnation. That pretty much means that I've lived in another life and that I might live in another one after this. Okay, and then you're like, okay. And it's like, okay, but why? Why did I do that if I have? And then why might I do that again? So, I feel that this is going to go ahead and just dive right in to the juicy parts. I can't even help but, like, keep looking at my poor, haggard, like, tropical plant back there. I need to figure out a better way to just, like, prop him up. I don't know what to do. The Amazon box looks awful. Anyhow, so, guys, let me get back to my topic here. So, the biggest issue here is, why do we reincarnate? Why? Like, we understand, most of us, because you either believe that you have this soul entity or you don't. And that's how we believe in psychology too, is that you either believe that there is this excess, basically mind and body, or you don't. And if you don't, then this conversation is really, like, pointless to you. But if you do believe that there is this whole deeper essence to yourself, then why wouldn't you reincarnate? There would be more to you after this life, because something transcends the body when you die. So, with that being said, we lead into, well, of course there would be a reason for this soul to carry on into the next. It wouldn't purposefully or aimlessly just continue living cyclically, because that would be kind of like purgatory rather. So, why do we reincarnate? Why do we have past lives? Because the majority of us, and this is unique to every one of us, because not all of us have the same personalities inherent to our souls. Because when I personally feel that while we have kind of like, your, I feel that we have like these sort of traits that are applied to our soul. We have these more deep set traits that follow us throughout each of our life cycles. And if you've ever gotten a past life reading from me, then you'll see that I use these sort of terms and this sort of language when I do these readings for you. Now, I personally feel that we have those sort of traits that apply to our souls, and that we also have traits that are sort of less permanent and may apply to our present life, our present character in that life, and how they mold throughout that life. But we still have those deep-seated elements that always follow us. And now those are also affected by certain things that we experience in each life cycle as well. And that brings me to our point that we also have flaws that are attached to our soul, and lessons that have to be learned and corrected, karma that has to be corrected throughout circumstances and experiences that we either properly go through or do not properly go through each of our lives. And that is why we reincarnate. And the ultimate goal for the soul here, before you can truly transcend the life cycle and move forward to the spirit world, according to basically, now this is my just my personal beliefs, my spiritual beliefs, which are heavily rooted in Buddhism, because I'm basically a Buddhist witchcraft practitioner. So, and basically, in order to reach full enlightenment and pass on to the spirit world fully and no longer continue to reincarnate, which is your soul's goal, because then you achieve true fulfillment and you no longer need to reincarnate. That is your soul's goal. You don't ideally want to continuously reincarnate, but it will take you several life cycles to achieve this full fulfillment. So you will have to go through this, because sometimes you will completely ignore the lessons or forget them and have to repeat them, because that's just how it works. Sometimes you may ignore them without even realizing it, because your soul may just have to work through that particular issue so many times before it actually processes through the soul. And so ideally, you have to work through all the issues that your soul has gained or has already had to begin with. And as it continues to process that, you eventually continue to move forward, you grow, you continue to gain enlightenment, and there's like this end goal that you are working towards. And then eventually you reach true enlightenment, and you move out of that cycle, you break it. Well, whoops. Let's imagine a circle, and you break it, and you transcend, and you are out of that reincarnation cycle. So, hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And so now I want to kind of get into like how that affects you presently, because a lot of times people want to know about their past lives, because you get these little inklings or a little subtle hint of things that may make you think that you are kind of tapping into that past life. And is it or is it not important to know your past life? Because some people think it's not, and some people think it is. Now, I personally feel that it is important to know a past life. Now, that is only if you are truly channeling it for a cathartic reason. Don't go with this ideology that you are going to learn about a past life for fun, or that you're hoping that you were someone famous or whatever, because you're not doing yourself any favors and you're probably going to be disappointed, because 9 times out of 10 your past life probably wasn't grandiose, and it probably had something shitty happen. But, and here's the thing, you will learn that you either did well with it and you're learning lessons that are still affecting you presently and helping you grow in this life, that you'll be like, aha, that's why I feel this way. Or you didn't do so well with that and you are still dealing with that poorly in this life, and you'll go, aha, that's why I am not dealing so well with things that remind me of that in this life. And it will help you to guide you through those things, and better help you deal with those lessons in this life, so you don't have to continuously keep dealing with that through harsher lessons that you might encounter sooner or later, rather. Now, like I said, now if you're going to get some sort of like past life regression, or going to take some little rinky-dink past life quiz, like, I was a mermaid in a past life, you're not doing yourself any favors, because it's not going to be cathartic, and you're not learning the truth about it, because there is truth in past life regression if you're going to someone who is valid and taking it serious. Now, if you're going to someone who is just, this taps into exactly my previous video if you guys watched it. If you are seeking out someone who is not truthful, and not truthful in what they're delivering, because I always tell people before I give a reading, I give them a heads up, like, look, this reading is going to be deep, and it very well may be very emotional for you, because you're probably going to get some information that might throw you on your ass, because this is not going to be fun or like humorous or cute like you may have expected. You should be prepared to come into this reading for something deep. And I always let clients know that, because, you know, not always do I get something negative. Sometimes I get readings that are extremely awesome. Sometimes people do get that lucky reading in which they were like someone really powerful, not powerful. I've never gotten someone that was like King England or whatever, because that's just absurd. I mean, I guess it's possible, but I mean, gotten someone who was, you know, in their ideas, hopes of who they wish they had been in a past life, I guess. But I've also delivered readings in which somebody was pretty disappointed in the life they led. And, I mean, that's just how it is. But you learn from those things. That's the point, is that that past life is guiding you in this life. It is a past life for a reason. And so, like I said, I do feel everybody should, in some cathartic way, learn about their past life, whether you do it on your own or go to somebody trustworthy who is going to be honest about what they see and how it affects you currently, because they very much so play an important role in your life now. Because also in numerology, if anybody ever goes and gets a numerology report, whether it be from me or from somebody else who is an awesome numerologist and is willing to, you know, dive into that important karmic debt aspects, because that is a very important role in your chart, is the whole karmic debt, because it taps into your past lives and helps give you an understanding about some areas in your life in which you might be experiencing difficulties, because that's something that numerology does, is it helps open you to areas in which you might be struggling, while also giving you insight about why and what you can do to better overcome that. So by like deducing certain numbers and all this, like I said, it's hard to explain. I'm not going to do that, because you have to learn this in order to do the more complicated aspects of a chart. And for me to sit here and be like, it would just confuse the both of us. So anyhow, basically, to do like karmic debts and all this thing, you have like a karmic debt, and you also have a karmic lesson. Karmic debt, they're similar, but they're different. And so basically, they both give you numbers from an area in your past life in which you've done something wrong, and it's carrying over in this life. But it gives you insight about how it may affect your life now, and what you can do to be better aware of it, and how you can basically better potentially make things easier on yourself by being aware of it. And so that's the thing is, people have this ideology about karma. We talk about karma all the time. People are always acting so self-aware of karma. It's like, oh, karma's out to get me, or karma's going to get that person, or blah, blah. But we never really, I don't really feel like I hear enough people have a good understanding of what karma really is. Karma is essentially supposed to be this, intent force within the universe that is reciprocal and works within its own frame and delivers with its intent. And so here's the thing is, when we're discussing past lives, as I am, we're talking about the things that you did in your past life. And so past lives clearly are important when we put into perspective the ideology of karma. If you have done something in a past life, you need to have an understanding of how that affects you in this life. And so, I guess what I'm getting at here is that really, while I think past lives are important, ultimately, the most important thing is your current life. I mean, sure, there are people who really get fixated on past lives and karma and all this. But ultimately, the most important thing that you can do is focus on the present. Don't focus on the future. Don't focus on the past. Because while your past life is incredibly interesting, and sure, yes, it is fun to learn about, but if you do seek it out, it needs to be simply for catharsis, because it needs to be taken seriously, in my opinion. I feel that past lives are should be intended for therapeutic use only, because if you seek someone out to truly do one for you, it's going to be a sense of catharsis. I mean, a very cathartic experience for you, because almost every one I've ever done has been a very emotional reading for someone. And they're very serious and extensive and deep. They are draining for me to do because of how heavy they are, but they are my most favorite readings to do, hands down. They are beautiful readings, but they seriously are intense, and they should be treated as such, and they will give you guidance. And like I said, but ultimately, at the end of the day, you need to prioritize this life in making important decisions to help you learn the lessons you're learning presently, and how that affects you in the future, but only from the perspective of what you are learning right now. So keep that in mind. Okay, guys? So, with that, I hope that you guys learned some stuff about past lives. And if you are ever interested in getting a past life reading from me, or getting a numerology report from me, you know where my website link is. It is in my bio, which will lead you to the book a reading button. And that will show you where my site is to buy readings. And if you ever have any questions, my email will always be in my description now too, for you to email me. But if you just need to ask more questions about past lives or numerology or anything like that, like I said, just feel free to email me, guys. And I hope you learned some stuff today. Namaste.